I can tell you guys are ready. Everybody's here. We got a decent amount of people in this chat. Today we are going to be reading the quickie article on the merge, and we are going to be reading the 2019 section only. So this will be a nice little catch-up before we start going to Chris's Twitter to read more about the merge. So hopefully you guys are ready. This is just beginning, and let's go. The merge in 2019. Naturally, New Year's Eve of 2019 was an eagerly awaited moment as the final chance for the cataclysm to occur. And I was so excited waiting for this because I've been telling everyone that this wouldn't happen, and when it didn't happen, it was fucking hilarious. In the early morning hours of January the 1st, 2019, Chris spoke out on Twitter in a New Year's address explaining that the merge had not happened on time due to the red tape, betraying some of the internal bureaucracy in the process of becoming a tranny goddess of the 80s computers. He retained his insistence that the event would still occur, and it's supposed to occur this year, and we're counting down to it again, adding reassurances that the Sonichu verse was still awake to remind everyone of Magi-chan's doxing non-canon status. And this is a quote from Chris Chan. "Good New Year, everyone. I shall make my statement for now, and I want no backtalk or hateful commentary." I think I've read this before in an older video. The dimensional merge of C197 and R1218 is still in progress. There is more damn red tape to work through, but our goal is set. It is only delayed. Everyone of C197 is still much awake. We have secured air foray in a magic-proof cell a few days ago. Who the fuck is that? I have no idea who the fuck that person is. Is there an article on that person? I guess I'll have to look him up later. Not even that witch courier on Facebook can say otherwise. Who the fuck is that? You're dropping a lot of shit on me, Chris. I don't know who any of these people are. Because I know better. Only time Chris will ever say he knows better and mean it. And her words shall never get to or sway me any other way until it does, like it always does. I still remain the CPU blue heart of the Commodore consoles, Quickville and Comma, and everyone is safe and well. But for now, I shall delay online talk for the dimensional merge through my social media until further notice. And I still remain very much married to Magi-chan, Sonichu, Krizzle, Rosachu, Savannah Rosachu, and Mewtwo. And there is room for at least one from this dimension, but there is no rush. So Chris is eager to get another person in on his weird marriage. If you want to marry Chris Chan and a bunch of fictional characters, go hit him up on Twitter. For now, Happy New Year's, everybody. Dismiss, and it shows lightning bolt, heart lightning bolt. The context behind Chris, aside from the air foray, arforay, I'm gonna be called a retard for not knowing how to say it anyway, so I don't fucking care, was revealed in the screen caps Lucas leaked to the Cow forum. In them, a person purporting to be Arforay possessed Jessica Quinn's PMs. Chris over Facebook, saying that she had tricked him into believing in the merge. Let's take a look at this. I want to know what the fuck they're talking about. Ha ha ha. My task is complete. It's taken far longer than I had originally anticipated, but the pieces are finally falling into place, and the end of the road, all things in sight. Blue heart, you fool, false goddess, not even you could see what was transpiring right before your eyes as I wove my web of deception. Ooh, an edgy little fuck. Did you think I would vanish so abruptly? I don't even know who the fuck you are. When my previous plans to deceive your heart was ruined, I began to work on a new plan. For months I have been pulling the very fabric of your precious creation apart, manipulating several key figures, and how they danced like puppets for me. Weird smiley face. Your beloved Magi-chan was no exception, my dear. In fact, he was unknowingly my greatest asset. That's what everyone does, use Magi-chan. Didn't his behavior strike you at least bit odd in the last few months? And 20 years to catch up to 1218's timeline? I'm not sure who's the bigger fool here. He for listening to the thoughts I placed in his subconsciousness, or you for faithfully believing it all. Ha 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 ha. And let's continue reading this madness in the next screenshot. Let me fill you in on our devious little secret. The hibernation your beloved purple hedgehog was talking about was all a trick concocted by a brilliant mind, my brilliant mind. I have fooled all the inhabitants of our universe into believing this dimensional merge, and have spun the potent curse upon all those who lay down in their slumber. Oh, this is reference to what they said before, that people would have to sleep and then wake up into their other body. It was very weird, and last year I had mentioned that it was giving me a very Kool-Aid vibe. You drink the Kool-Aid and you wake up in your new immortal body shit. And so apparently this person's taking credit for that. As Maja-chan said himself, the communication between the worlds have been severed for 20 years. No help from the outside world, and I and Legion will be free to reshape, as Maja-chan said himself. Oh, why did you crop it like this? This is so stupid. Annihilation to all. The OC shall be sent to their graves by none other than Erin's, Queen of Darkness. There is nothing you can do. With your connection severed and the precious OCs out of the picture, I have at last won. The slate shall be wiped clean. And the new order, what are you, fucking Star Wars? Come on. My order. What the fuck is this? Is this fucking Jacob Sockness talking? What type of retarded shit is this? This is so fucking cringe. Ah, God. The retard spreads with all of them. However, the attached post from Lucas suggests that Lucas had been posting as Quinn in an attempt to pass the blame onto her, which is what people do. They just trick Chris by doing stupid stunts like that. I'm not the one who started the merge thing. I just tricked my mom's sugar daddy into buying Chris's porn shit. Oh, this is from Lucas. Chris sent me texts from Jessica Quinn. I'm pretty sure she's the one. Despite Chris stating that he would abstain from talking about the merge until further notice, he went on to mention it in the following day, because Chris can never stick to anything he says he's going to do, writing about the health problems, superpowers he got from it. On January the 4th, 2019, Chris said that he was awaiting further information on the merge, more indication that the entire merge had been scripted and fed to him by trolls who were no longer in the picture, because some deity-level red tape is delayed, but it will happen soon enough. But don't make a big deal about it until I have more information about it. So that is Chris being interviewed by Jackson Dalton. Particularly troubling about Chris's comment is that he wants more information in order to verify that his delusional thoughts are real. By admitting this, he highlighted a path for new trolls to get into his head. Jacob Sockness, the fucking Sarah and Steve people, the Chris Chan cult people. Exactly, that's what all of them did. Showing that he has failed to learn from the Idea Guys saga. Several eager weens rushed in to fill the gaps in Chris's knowledge. Though, by mid-June 2019, Chris had apparently become overwhelmed with these, and has since turned to other, more credible sources, mostly people saying they're possessed by Maja-chan. Continued hope in the merge. After the first deadline for the merge had passed, Chris remained more optimistic that the merge would still happen at some point. While he was initially quiet about it, he began ramping up the rants about the merge again around spring. On the 31st of March, he tweeted, "The dimensional merge is still happening and going on. C197 plus 1218 equals 1C211987. We learned about that in our last video. OCs are really becoming more obvious here. There are even sightings of a Dio blonde vampire in Egypt, and they just found a fucking mask. They just found that stupid fucking mask from JoJo, so I bet you Chris creamed in his pants. Descendants beware, Dio is coming after all of you. Chris, don't watch JoJo. That fandom doesn't want you either." Several merge-related tweets followed in April, fitting, because he is a fool, in which he claimed that people in Japan were seeing OCs and blaming the Notre Dame church fire. What the fuck, on a Pokemon? So Charmander just caused a terrorist incident, according to Chris. the events around this time to give context for Chris's renewed interest in the merge. Earlier, March 2019, after Chris was gifted a Nintendo Switch, he developed an obsession with playing the augmented reality game Pokemon Go. The game's premise revolves around using smartphones to see Pokemon characters in real-world settings, which coincides with Chris' beliefs about the merge. Even though that's virtual reality or augmented reality and we created it ourselves, but whatever. On the 2nd of April, Chris was sued for debt for the 4th time. How fitting. Further, confirming the link between the merge and its financial problems. He's probably losing it. On the 3rd of April, a new troll entered the stage with a future message for Crystal W. Chandler. And I still don't know what the fuck all that was about. Who presented himself to Chris as a messenger of the merge. Beginning in summer 2019, Chris would emphasize more on the merge is already nearly done and would soon be completed and finished. And that's what's supposed to be happening this month. It's supposed to definitely be done this month. So let's see if that happens this month. Like an obscure sect leader struggling to explain to his followers after the fact why the second coming had not come when he calculated it should. On the 13th of June 2019, Chris claimed that he had been counseling with Jesus Christ. Yes, Jesus himself. We covered this in the Christian False God saga this year. And that Jesus had been helping with the dimensional merge, which would be finished in the near coming days, but without giving an actual set date. So he's being vague to make it sound like he could be right at any time when everyone knows he's not. Chris also mentioned that Jesus had been preaching this at all the churches and in Pokemon gyms, and yes, Jesus went to Pokemon gyms, accept it, and yet needed Chris to help out the world by posting this to his protected Twitter account. Naturally, after indulging in his fantasies on the matter, Chris begged for money, because that's all Chris does. As July 2019 began, Chris tried to demonstrate his divine abilities through psychic powers. July the 8th, he tried to assure his true and honest believers on Twitter that the merger's effects would be mild and temporary. What the fuck does that mean? And continue his long trend of attributing random events in the news as harbingers of the merge, which is really fucked up. He's taking actual tragedies and actual people's deaths and saying that that's the merge happening. And that's really fucking insulting for anyone who actually has to suffer to be used by this retard to try to preach his stupid religion. On the 10th of July, Chris, via Magichan Sock Puppet on Twitter, complained about the many uninspired trolls who have been trying to take advantage of the merge to exploit Chris. This has not prevented others, such as the multi-dimensional White Knights or Jacob Sockness, from attempting to weasel their way into Chris's inner circle, and they most have, like Jacob Sockness definitely has. To advance his belief in the merge, Chris has resorted in using sock puppet accounts on Twitter, and so has other people, most prominently Magichan11448. To broadcast events, whether he is using this as a transparent disguise to convince others that he genuinely thinks that he is channeling his cartoon character's thoughts and statements into microblogging platform, this is unclear. On the 14th of August 2019, Magichan would announce that he has allegedly arrived into the real world and would presently describe in a video the merge status. Yes, he would. The merge's future course is subject to only Chris's whims and is not dependent upon Chris's deteriorating finances, his aged mother's declining health, or any other events in 1218. Originally supposed to be complete within a few months of its announcement, now nearly a complete year, and yet it continues to be pushed into the future, as nothing in Chris's world objectively changes, except the identities of his enabling rivals for his incompetence. Whether Chris will abandon his belief in the merge in the event of some external shock like Barb's death, which people have been hoping for on Twitter, and that's pretty fucked up, and its fallout, or retreat further into it, is something only time can tell. So that was all the updates for the merge this year. Some of these have been covered in events that I already talked about, like the Christian False God saga. Check that out. or the Chris Chan Twitter lockdown saga. But hopefully this gives you a little summary of what's been going on if you didn't keep up with all my other shit this year. And it should prepare you for when I start taking random Twitter threads and read them out in future videos. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Hopefully you guys like this delusional merge month, because I am excited to keep doing more of these. Bye, guys. Before the credits roll, I thought I'd give a shout out to my multiple ways of making money. YouTube is starting to slowly sanitize the platform, making it hard for people to make money on edgier content like I do. So I'm reminding you guys that I have a Patreon. The Patreon has plenty of reward tiers, including seeing my podcast early and possibly getting on the show if I can fit that into the schedule. I have video recommendation tiers that you can try to get into, and if Patreon isn't your thing, I now sell shirts. This month's shirts are Edge Christmas, where it's Edge riding on a Motobug, and Sonichu Christmas, which has Sonichu and Magichan on it. And if all else fails and my YouTube falls apart, I always have a BitChute account. So remember to check out all these different things in the description below.